Hello lovely people, special delivery. We have a package to unpackage, box to unbox, and I think it's gonna be something very interesting and fun. This is extremely good protected because it's not something for me, it's something that somebody bought for themselves and just sending for me to review. Okay, what do we have inside? We have loads of cables. Oh my god, so many cables. This is going to be a fascia, so that's not for me. We are interested in, come out, this thing, which is a Teyes Lux One. Is there a model number? Not sure about the model number, but basically this is supposed to be top of the range Teyes Android head unit. And today we're gonna open it up, we're gonna review it, and we're gonna go through all the distortion measurements. Okay, so this was sent to me by one of the followers of my channel. He has a very cool SQ build. I'm not sure if I can say his name. I'm not gonna mention him, but he's in the UK, so he bought this head unit for himself, for his car. Just wanna check how it performs, because on this channel we did review and measure the Atoto head unit, the joint head unit, and Teyes is one of the brands, like, I don't want to call them top dogs, but one of the quality brands that make good stuff. Now, this head unit, I do believe, is going to be car specific, so hence we're going to have a lot of different connections and everything, which we are not really interested in that at all. We're gonna have a look at the head unit itself alone. So this is a Teyes Lux One. That's a model number, 12.3 inches, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage. Let's open it up and let's see what we have. This looks like to be a very wide screen compared to the Joying and the Toto that I have. Ooh, fancy. I don't believe it's been unpacked before, not sure, but very fancy black packaging. Looks extremely premium. All the tape is still there. So I'm not sure if he unpacked it to double check or it's still packed from factory. Okay, I have to be extremely careful with it because, again, it's not mine, it's somebody else's. Yeah, the protective film is there. Oh, it's massive. It's huge. This is going to be a floating screen. I guarantee it's going to go all over the dash. From this, I can see that the bezels are massive on this screen, but it is in landscape format, so you will still have a lot of real estate. And I would imagine split screen will look amazing. I'm going to show what's going to be turned on just to see what we have. But let's have a look at what we have. Okay, same stuff. Lux One car multimedia player. I'm not sure exactly how much it costs because probably that will depend on the complexation. And Teyes, same like Joying, same like Atoto, they do have like their base model that they do with different fascias to fit different cars. So we can expect, if it's a Lux One with similar performance, that everything is going to be exactly the same on all the other models. Now on this external fan, that's interesting, just to make sure that it's not overheating, I guess. We're not going to take it apart because, again, this is not mine. This is still wrapped brand new under warranty, so I'm not going to touch any internals. But from all of this, we can expect exactly the same as we had with Atoto and with Joying. We do have a 15 amp fuse, so with 15 amps is going to be the same TDA built-in amplifier internal. We're going to test that, and this one has exactly as the other ones, coax and optical digital outputs. So for those that don't know, digital outputs is basically the cleanest possible signal that you can get out of your source. I'm not sure about the Bluetooth, what it has. I didn't read the manual or anything, but we're gonna check. So in this video, we're gonna do all the typical distortion measurements. We're gonna check the high level output, which is the amplified output. I'm not sure if it has RCAs. Maybe it's one of those pins. I'll have to check if it has RCAs. We're gonna check RCAs, And at the same time, we're going to check the coax output, because coax and optical is the same. It's just slightly different formats. So we're going to be checking only one. I might measure both. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm very interested in the Bluetooth performance. So we'll be checking how the Bluetooth performs directly to the head unit and via Android Auto using these various different outputs. So I'm not going to do like a review of the actual head unit, because you can find that on other channels that do some simple basic stuff. Ooh, cloudy, nice. We are interested in the distortion. So now I will take a couple of hours to take all the measurements, and then we're gonna jump into the laptop and we will see how clean this thing is. I'm just doing some measurements. I'm almost done in my kitchen laboratory. I just want to show you how it looks like. So I didn't mention that this device is vehicle specific, and this is for a Mazda. So the owner of this head unit has obviously a Mazda, and he bought the harness. I think it came with a harness specifically for that unit. And the problem with this unit is that it doesn't have any RCAs out. It does have this big plug that is power ground and all the speaker outputs high level, and basically nothing else, because you have like camera input, DVD, video, and this is gonna be, there's a CAN bus box as well, and basically there's no RCAs. At least I don't know, so I'm not gonna test the RCAs. I did test the high level outputs and the coax and optical. Coax and optical perform exactly the same, so I have measurements here. We're gonna go through them a bit later. I just want to very quickly show you how it looks like. So the screen is wide, it is responsive, I cannot fault it at all. I found one cool thing, which is a battery indication. At the moment it's running from my lithium at, you can see 13.27, 13.2. Cool. It draws 1 amp of current on idle, as typical for all the head units. I do have a USB stick connected to it to the back, so that's how I'm playing the music. If we're gonna go here, music, this, and basically these are my tones that are playing, and I can capture them using the Quantasylum. So if anybody's wondering how I'm capturing the coax and the optical, I'm using an SMSL DAC, which takes in digital signal, and basically I'm feeding the output of this DAC into the Quantasylum, and then I'm capturing everything with REW. So in regards to the built-in DSP of this head unit, if we're gonna go to settings, device, and sound, here we have a few settings, and here we have the equalizer. So the equalizer is graphical. I thought it's going to be parametric, but it's graphical. You can change the gain of specific band. However, it's exactly the same like in the joying and in the Atoto, that you have no idea how much you're chasing, because there's no indication for the gain at all. So just basically eyeballing it. And you can change the Q of the band from 0.7 all the way up to 8. So at least that. But the frequency, I don't know, I cannot find it. I cannot change the frequency. There's no setting for that. It's just in the independent front and rear. So if you connect, again, as I did, tweeters to 2 channels and mid bass to the rear channels, you can run it kind of active. But yeah, there's these all bands. There's 16 bands for the front channels and 16 for the right. Nothing really individual. You can select all this stuff, but it's just, you know, it doesn't really matter. Surround, that's your time alignment, so in milliseconds or centimeters. Bass enhancement is basically bass boost at specific frequency, I would imagine. Field, all the typical usual stuff. And bass filter is your crossovers. They go up to 250 hertz. And that's pretty much with this. The volume is here in the corner, and it's exactly the same like all the others. Slider, which is annoying, but since again this is a vehicle specific, so it will have a CAN bus, and you will be able to control the volume using the steering wheel controls. So it's not that big of an issue, but yeah, there's absolutely no buttons on this head unit, nothing. But the screen is nice, cannot complain. It is responsive. Sometimes I don't know, maybe my fingers were a bit dirty or something, but it felt like the screen is not as responsive as others that I tested. But see, but it come Come on, it might be just my fingers, I don't know, but if it feels like it, but it's fast. It's just the screen doesn't feel like it's responding very good. One more very quick note, I just had it connected for about 10-15 minutes, and it's hot. It's like I don't want to say it's very hot, but it's probably close to like 40 degrees. I didn't connect the fan at all, so fan will have to be connected 100% because it does get very, very warm, even with literally nothing playing, idling. So yeah, that's how it looks like. Now we're gonna jump into the laptop and we're gonna have a look at the measurements. This is gonna be a quick one because, as I mentioned, it's just two outputs, high level and optical. We're gonna start with the high level. This is 1 kilohertz sine tone. We do have some weird stuff happening like here at 500 and quite a lot of harmonics. However, the level is low relatively. So we have THD plus noise 0.013, which is normal, typical. This is 5 watts of output into 4 ohm static load into a resistor. And it is very typical for a normal average amplifier. Now, I did measure the output of this built-in chip amp. It's 13 watts, so very, very typical of any head unit. I couldn't measure, I cannot show you the THD versus level or THD versus frequency because I don't have analog inputs into this head unit, only USB or Bluetooth. So yeah, just for comparison, I'm going to show you, this is the Atoto, which is 0.015, and this is a Joying 0.065, which is a bit more. But if we compare all of them, this is the Teyes. Joying has a little bit more noise and harmonics, and Atoto has a bit less. So this is falls somewhere in between of these two. So it's normal, respectable numbers for a built-in chip amplifier. This is playing from a USB stick, so basically this is the best case scenario. If we opt for Bluetooth, we have much more noise in the higher frequencies, which is very, very typical, but it's still okay. 0.03 on Bluetooth, it's fine. However, the Android Auto is nonsense. Same like I had the results on the Joying and on the Toto. And some people say that this is because this is not like true Google Android Auto, but like, I don't know, some kind of other app. So it could be because of that. THD plus noise still shows low, but you can see like this is, yeah, it's not nice at all. Just very quickly, let's go through all the other measurements. This is intermodulation of 60 and 7K. Not bad at all. We do have a higher floor noise here at the bottom, but it's still fine, it's still respectable. Even the higher frequencies, everything is below like 90 dB, so that's fine. Higher frequencies 18 and 20K. Yeah, it's typical for this TDA chip. I have something very similar on the Joying and a Toto, so we can say the built-in amplifier is very, very similar, kind of almost identical to all the other ones because, again, same TDA chip. Now, if we have a look at the Bluetooth, as I mentioned, yeah, much more noise intermodulation here as well, and at higher frequencies as well. Quite a lot of noise, which again is very typical. However, the good thing is the Bluetooth, it's playing all the way up to 20K. I'm not sure about the codec because I did connect it to my Pixel phone. I went to developer options just to check what kind of codec that is, but the codec is grayed out, so I have no idea. But again, if it's playing above 20K, that means it's not aptX HD because you would have less noise, but it's not a bad codec at all. However, Android Auto is totally different thing. So I don't have under Android Auto that this is the measurement of 18 and 20K because it's DBR. If I would do DBFS and we would go down, this is just shows you that just the noise because the Android Auto doesn't play above like 18K. So 18 and 20K, it doesn't exist. It is what it is. And this is 60 and 7K on Android Auto. And you can see here at the bottom, there's loads and loads of noise in the lower frequencies on Android Auto. And here as well, it's just a forest of noise. So Android Auto is a big no-no on these things. Very quickly, let's have a look at the frequency response. So don't look at the bottom end because it's always going to be jiggly. The one thing that I did notice is from USB, you can see it has plus 1 dB down to 20 Hertz. So it's not totally flat. It has like 1 dB increase for some reason. And this one, Bluetooth, both of them, Android Auto and normal Bluetooth, it kind of rolls off below 30 Hertz a little bit, but it's still kind of flattish down to 20. In regards to the high frequency extension, USB plays up to 20K. You can see all the way up there, and then it drops off. Bluetooth as well, up to 20K, and Android Auto, it kind of chops off here, which is about 16.5 kilohertz. So the good thing is Bluetooth is good on this, and it plays all the way up to 20K. It does drop what, 0.4 of a dB, half a dB, which is nothing. So that's quite good results. Now the most important thing, the digital outputs, and this is 1 kilohertz sine tone on the digital output. And this, in the beginning, I got a little bit concerned because when I saw this, I didn't really look at the scale, and I was like, wow, this is really not good for a digital output. Is just loads of stuff happening. However, if I would overlay this with the joying, you can see it's the same. The noise floor is the same because it is at minus 120, and the joying just has no harmonics, just a third one a little bit. The Atoto that I measured, for some reason it has much lower floor noise. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but yeah, Atoto has much lower floor noise. And if we compare Atoto with this Teyes, you can see that the harmonics are kind of the same level, but the floor noise is similar to the joying. However, we still see this like bump for some reason. So it's not as nice response. However, it's not gonna be audible at all because like this harmonic, the second one, and this broadening of the 1 kilohertz tone is at minus 100 decibels. If you look at this on paper, it doesn't look nice. There's something wrong. I'm not sure if I should use the word wrong. There's something wrong with this, but it's not as nice as other ones because you can see a Toto is just have just harmonics and nothing else. The joying has literally nothing, just one harmonic, and this one has loads of stuff happening. However, this, again, I'm going to repeat myself, it's not going to be audible, and we can consider this to be a clean signal if we're going to feed it to the amplifier. However, technically looking at it, it's not as nice, but again, it's not going to be audible at all. THD plus noise 0.005. We have exactly the same on the joying because of the noise, and Atoto has much less because the noise is much lower. Again, I'm not sure why the noise floor is so different, but yeah. So this is a 1 kilohertz sine tone. If we have a look at the intermodulation, 60 and 7K, it looks nice, it looks clean. There's just loads of noise, loads and loads of noise. However, again, all this noise, 120 and all the way down, so it's not an issue, it's fine. Now I do believe that I lost the 18 and 20K measurement for this one, but it was exactly the same, clean, just like that, but it was very similar to this one where we had two clear tones and we had the noise level at the same like level here at minus 120, but there was a lot of noise. Bluetooth, it's good, it's quite good. However, all of these, this is not harmonics because it's just random frequencies. They do peak at minus 73, so it's not going to be audible, but yeah, Bluetooth noise, it's always there. Intermodulation with Bluetooth, again, very nice at the lower frequencies, a little bit more noise at the higher frequencies. 1820K on Bluetooth, yeah, noisy. Bluetooth is always noisy at the higher frequencies. And Android Auto is exactly the same, even using the optical outputs. It's kind of the same as with amplifiers, just, yeah, it's a total mess. Again, 1820 kilohertz, there's nothing on Android Auto, and this intermodulation just shows us that there's loads of noise at the lower frequencies. Basically, all of this I measured with a Cosmos analog to digital converter, and I just double checked it with a Quantasylum, and I had identical measurements because I just wasn't sure if this is due to like my gear that I'm using, or this is the actual head unit. So since I use two different devices to measure the same thing, I'm confident that this is coming from the actual head unit. And finally, frequency response. Using optical, for some reason, all three, that is USB, Bluetooth, and Android Auto, has this rising bottom end. That means that the frequency response is not 100% linear. Even using an optical output, we have +2 decibels down at 20 hertz, which is, I don't know, weird. Can you hear those 2 decibels? I doubt it. Maybe, like, if you would A/B compare a totally flat or even a head unit that slightly rolls off, like maybe has half a dB down. If you compare this A/B with this one that has +2, that would be 2.5 decibels. Probably you would be able to hear a difference but yeah, 20 hertz, not sure. At 30 hertz, it's only 1 dB, so I don't think it would be audible, but technically looking at it, it's not totally flat. And again, higher frequencies exactly the same. If using optical, all of these tones were played at 96K, so they are resampled inside down to 44, probably down to 44.1, because you can see 22, everything goes down. So this is from USB. The normal Bluetooth is still up to 20, and Android Auto craps out at 17K. So there you have it. Is it perfect? No, just because of this. It's like, I would like to see this a bit cleaner, especially because it is a digital output. I would like to see this something like a Toto, or even if it's like joying with higher floor noise, I would like to see less harmonics. But again, it's not audible, it's just annoying. Now for the price, I think the owner said he paid 300 euros or pounds for this unit. So for that price, especially when it has all like the canvas and everything and factory integration, I think it's a good product. It's worth it. I'm not sure about the screen, how it's going to be in direct sunlight, because I haven't taken it outside. I just have it literally for a few days. I'm going to send it back. But objectively looking at the measurements, the amplifier is exactly the same as you would have in any other Android head unit, and the digital output slightly worse than joining in a Toto, but it's nothing to be concerned about. Even if it shows like this, everything is again 100 dB and below, so it's not going to be audible at all. And one of the last things the owner asked me about the possible hiss from this head unit. So on the amplifier side, if you're using high level outputs, all head units slightly hiss. These Android head units, and even like proper head units on high levels, most of them hiss a little bit. But again, it will depend what kind of tweeters you have. If you have very high sensitivity tweeters, it could show up. If they're not that sensitive, probably you're not gonna hear it. So yeah, that's it. That was the Teyes Android head unit. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.